How's it going, Dave from Comic Book Investments? So in this video, we are going to go through the top trending comics, the hottest comics of the week. And usually what I like to do is I aggregate through all the different sites, that's Key Collector, Go Collect, Cover Price, other things like that. And I kind of see what's trending because each one has a little bit of different list. And then I pick out a few that I find interesting and I like to talk about it. And I color code them. So green means go keep an eye out, sure, move forward with that book if you want to. Yellow is proceed with caution. Those are more speculation, don't really know. And then red, of course, is stop, pass. I wouldn't get it. And there's quite a funny one for this week's pass. So save it to the very end because I just wanted to hold it for save the best for last. It's very fun. Every once in a while, I like to rip in things from time to time, and this is going to be one that I will rip into a little bit. I mean, I'll do it jokingly, don't worry, but it's a very funny one. So I'm going to go through this list and, kind of give you my thoughts on what I think about it. Okay, so first up is we got What If number 10. Now, this was a What If series that what if Jane Foster actually became Thor instead of Don Blake, which is basically the Thor that we know, and had the little staff and then turned it into Thor. And obviously this got really popular because of the movie. Jane Foster is going to be Thor. Although I looked at the trailer and either Natalie Portman's been taking some steroids or something, or it's maybe they did something different where they actually have a body double type of thing, and then they CGI on her face or something kind of like that. Kind of like the Hulk is Mark Ruffalo's face transformed kind of thing. Maybe something like that. I mean, they have crazy good CGI. But anyways, this book is up. Obviously, it's been up 1,800% increase in copies sold in the last week versus the previous. And obviously, that's because the trailer just recently dropped. And we all know that it's going to kind of borrow from that storyline. We don't know exactly how much. I mean, I don't know if she's going to be sick with cancer or that kind of thing. So kind of, hard to tell exactly. For this book in particular, now, yes, I think this is a good book, but here's the caveat. I do not see that, say they make a Thor number 5. I don't see them continuing with Jane Foster being Thor. I mean, Natalie Portman's already been in it for as long as Chris Hemsworth. I just don't see them continuing on with Natalie Portman. I mean, she wasn't even really in the previous, Endgame. She had a tiny scene and she couldn't do that for, I think it was scheduling reasons. So it was a body double actually. So she was actually never in it. So I just don't see them really moving forward with Natalie Portman. Now, as Jane Foster as the character, I really don't see that either. I think they're going to stick with Chris Hemsworth, and Chris Hemsworth has said he wants to stick with Thor. So as far as that goes, I don't really see it long term. What I do see is some ripple effects of this. Let's say Natalie Portman's Thor is a standout, breakout character. Everyone likes her, loves her, whatever. That could then maybe translate into more comic books based off of Jane Foster as being Thor. It could also translate maybe some animated stuff, and maybe down the line, maybe some movie things. Maybe they have some kind of all women's Avengers and they have Jane Foster's Thor. Maybe it's Natalie Portman, maybe it's someone else at this point, a different actress. So I could see that. That's what I could see. All right, next up is there's a ton of Thor on here, by the way. It's literally, you should have seen this as Thor, brand new book, Thor. It's so anyways, we got Journey Mystery Annual number 1. This is the first appearance of Hercules, also the first appearance of Zeus. And as you know, it's also the first battle of Thor and Hercules, obviously. But as you know, in Love and Thunder, the trailer, we see Russell Crowe as Zeus, which I love my Greek mythology. So very excited about that whole aspect. We're definitely going to probably see something with Hercules. Maybe Hercules ends up being a kind of like a standout character where they then move forward with maybe a Hercules movie or a Hercules something. So there's definitely potential here. I've always liked this book. I've mentioned it on previous videos I've done before, like get this book. I personally bought a bunch of this. I've since sold most of them. I think once the trailer dropped, like 2 people bought some of them, but I might have a couple left. But I was always very bullish on this book, even now that it's like getting hyped up. And you're like, okay, say Hercules, it's like, not that good, and the hype kind of goes down, all that kind of stuff. I still think this is a good book long term. So even if you're buying it today, and let's say hypothetically today is the peak, I don't think you're going to be that upset 10 years from now. It's going to be, this is a good long term book. It is. So also make sure that there's a Canadian variant where the back cover is blank. So be careful of that. Or maybe it's a UK variant. I think it's the UK variant. The back cover is blank, or is it the back inside cover? It's been a while since I've seen it. But one of them, it's blank. And it should say on the label if you buy it already cased. But in case you're thinking this is some kind of weird variant, it's worth less. So, all right, moving on. We got Venom #3. This is the first full appearance of Null, who created the symbiote race. His first cameo appearance is in Thor: God of Thunder #6. So yeah, so the reason why this is on this list, it's up 420% increase from the week prior, because there's speculation that Gore in the Thor movie, who's played by Christian Bale, so originally I think there's speculation he's going to play Beta Ray Bill, but that never turned out to be true. I don't know if Beta Ray Bill is actually in this. He might have a small little cameo or something. There's speculation that Gore will wield the comic-accurate all-black symbiote sword. So this is the second consecutive week it's been on the trending list. So I think this was in my heating up video I did like a week or 2 ago. I believe so. I recently did on this book, and I gave it praises. A lot of people always ask me, it's like, well, you never put any modern books on there. And it's like, well, modern books are so volatile. It's like, you have to wait for the dust to clear, and the dust to settle takes years, if not decades, to figure out what's going to be good or not. Like, I don't control the world and how people feel about things. I can't tell them. I mean, I wish I could, but I can't control the world and be like, this is the character that everyone needs to love and attach themselves to and, are interested in. Like, I can't do that. And also tell all the writers and creators, like, this is the character you need to be writing about, when artists and writers have ulterior motives. Like, they're trying to write for their own interest, because when they create a character, they own the rights to that character and they get royalties on the character. So, writing someone else's character, drawing someone else's character is only boosting someone else's character and someone else's royalties. So why would you want to do that? A lot of people, are self-interest. So they'll come up with their own character. But so it's so hard to know what hits and doesn't hit. That's why I feel like it was easier for characters back in the day, like say in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, for them to get popular, because those characters were owned by the company. So like Marvel owned that character. So Marvel's like, oh, Spider-Man's doing really good. Let's put Spider-Man in everything. And it was up to, more of the editors, while now it's like the creators like, well, why don't I move this character in here more? Right? Obviously, the editors at Marvel still have some say, but a lot of times people are trying to push their own character. And depending how big the artist or writer is, they have more say, and so they can push their own character and things like that. So even if the public doesn't want that character. So here is a new book for you guys. How new is it? 2018. So it is new. Anyways, I think going forward, I just see more and more of Null kind of like everywhere. A lot of speculation, a lot of things being pushed forward through like MCU news and all that kind of stuff. So this could be something. And this cover I see popping up more and more. And a cover is good when it's being homaged a bunch of time and people are just, making kind of copies of it with like different characters, things like that. So, that's a good sign of a cover itself being good. And so you need multiple things. If you have a good iconic cover, and then you have a good story, and then you have a first key appearance of something or something like that, then all those things it has that going for it. So going forward, it kind of has a lot going for it. So it has a lot of upside. So that's how I see it. All right, now moving on to the speculation. These are ones proceed with caution. That's what yellow means. So we got Sandman 25. This is the first appearance of the Dead Boy Detectives. Interesting. The ghosts of two murdered boys who investigate mysteries. Very interesting. It's like the Hardy Boys, but dead. Anyways, why is this popping up? It is up a 900% increase from the previous week, which is quite a lot. Well, the reason why is because it didn't really sell very many before, and now it's selling a bunch. I probably have some. Anyways, it's because in April, HBO Max officially ordered the Dead Boy Detective series, and their first appearance was in The Sandman. So my hesitance on this is, I mean, everything is getting a series these days. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if HBO Max wants to do a series on the Comic Book Investment Channel. By the way, it's for sale. I'm just joking. But anyways, proceed with caution because there's a lot of stuff that gets made, and never actually gets made. So this is one of them. My best advice, if you think this is going to be a good thing, wait till the dust settles on this. So you're going to get a bunch of people buying now, hence up 900%. And then wait a couple months and the hype will be dead, because to make this show, it's going to take like 2 years. So it won't come out for 2 years. So there's going to be a lot of dust settling for you to get this book. And that's when you should pick it up, when the hype is kind of dead. Unless they're really on top of things and like every month they release like, oh, here's an image. Here's the casting. Here's some more casting. Here's a director. Here's a writer, blah, blah, blah. Then that would keep the hype going. But most likely it's going to die down. All right. Next we got, as a speculation, proceed with caution, is Minecraft. I'm assuming this is Minecraft number 1. It just says Minecraft. Interesting. Preview of 2019's graphic novel. Okay. This is a promotional giveaway distributed at the New York Comic Con in 2018. So I guess this is technically, there's a graphic novel. So this was the preview of it at the New York Comic Con. So it's kind of like, I guess its first appearance, kind of, I guess, like San Diego Comic Con number 2 and Hellboy, almost. So apparently, Jason Momoa is rumored to be the main role in the Minecraft movie. Now, here's the thing. 100% they're making a Minecraft movie. Like, unless some crazy thing happens and there's massive disagreements or whatever the hell is happening, they're getting made. This is a massive, and Microsoft owns Minecraft. So are they making a movie? Are they getting into movies? Microsoft, the software company? Maybe. Or maybe they have some partner. I know they did the Halo series with Paramount. So maybe Paramount's making this movie and that's like they have a connection. But 100% this is getting made. This is a massive, 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 massive video game, cultural thing, everything. It is getting made 100%. So does that translate into the comic book going up? Don't know. You can look at stuff like Men in Black. That comic book's not very expensive. They made 4 movies. They're thinking about rebooting it again with Will Smith until he decided to act a fool. And now all of his movies are going away from him and everyone's pulling. Kind of like what I predicted. So that's why it sucks for people that I told for Kanto. I don't think that movie's getting made, and I have a whole bunch of them. So who knows? Hold on to hope. But also you can look at stuff like The Mask. Massive hit. That's a comic book. That comic book's not very expensive. So yeah, kind of hard to tell. The good thing going for this is since it was given away at the New York Comic Con, there's probably not that many. So low print run. So that has that going for it. So that's good. But then there's also, there's comics given away. I believe there's a Resident Evil comic book. I have a couple of those. There's Doom, the video game that had a comic book. And they're not too expensive, and they'll sit for a while waiting for that right buyer, because just because you play the video game doesn't mean you collect comic books. It's kind of like the Beatles comic book. I mean, they're not that expensive because you need that crossover appeal of someone that wants the comic book. So, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Proceed with caution. All right, so let's get into the pass. This is where I'm like, let's not buy this book. All right. So on the trending list, we got Thor, God of Thunder, number 25. This is the second cameo appearance of Jane Foster as Thor. This is up 675% from the previous week. I mean, it's a second cameo appearance, not even the first cameo appearance, and it's a cameo appearance. I mean, this cover is awesome. I love this cover. Great cover, but it's a second cameo appearance. Like, really? No. This is not this book. I'm talking long term, short term. Sure, maybe you could, if you have copies, sell them now and you made some money. Long term, no. This is not the book for you. If you're investing and this is for long term investment, if you like the book, buy the book. If you love the story, buy the story. If you love the cover, buy the comic book. Buy it for those reasons. But if you're buying it for a long term investment, sorry, this is a big pass. All right, next is Thor, God of Thunder, number 2. Told you there's so many Thors. I had to try not to find Thors. This is the first appearance of Gore the Butcher, the God Butcher. First appearance in Necro's Necro's Word, the first symbiote created by Null. Obviously, this is up 116% from the previous week. Second consecutive week on here because Christian Bale's playing as Gore. Now, this cover is done by Asad Ribic. You know what's crazy? I think it was 4. It has Gore, and he has the hammer, and he's crouching over. I had the original artwork by Asad Ribic. I had it. I should have tucked it away somewhere. It'd be worth a ton now. I sold it for barely anything back in the day. I think I barely broke even. Oh, and I loved it too. Asad Ribic, great. Now, full disclosure, I have these books. They're sitting at CGC. Coming back to be graded. When they'll be graded, probably get them back in a couple months. But, I mean, I fast-tracked them, and I sent them a while ago, so it's in their hands now. So I'm kind of poo-pooing on this book, even though I have them. So, but I'm just being honest up front. That's what I do. So I don't see... Here's the thing. In order for this book to continue... Okay, let's take an example. Ego. The first appearance of Thor 132 and 133, Ego the Living Planet, played by Kurt. I want to say Kurt Warner, but that's the football player. God. Kurt something. God, you guys would correct me. Anyways, he played Ego the Living Planet. And where is that book today? Okay, that Guardians 2 came out, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, yeah, it's more popular than it was before Guardians came out, right? As in dollar amount. But, it went up, got a big boost, and then the movie came and gone, and then, it came down. If this was it was before the boost from the movie, now it's here. So, yes, it does help it, but it's not I think we're in the boost phase. So if you bought it now, it's going to drop because, let's be honest, unless somehow they have Gore continue on, and which they usually don't. So you got Thanos and Loki was the only villains that continue on. Every other one would be one and done, especially in the Thor movies. I mean, minus Loki. Yeah. That's why it's a pass for me. So, and I have the books. So, all right, now on to my final one. Oh boy. Good. All right, so this is the secret history of the war on weed. And it is a Bored Ape Yacht Club limited to 500. And if you guys aren't familiar with the Bored Ape, it is basically the epitome of NFT art. And honestly, whoever drew this artist, did a better job of the Bored Ape than any of the actual Bored Ape art. So that says a lot. All right. So, yeah, I mean... I guess it's a story about the biggest tool in the armed forces getting high for the first time. That's the book, what it's about. Sure, why not? I mean, if that's someone, it's, to me, this is jumping on this NFT hype train, which honestly, in my opinion, died last year. So you're on the downward trend of these NFTs and these Bored Apes. I mean, I've done stories on this, how NFTs have lost like 99% of their value. The Bored Ape is the same. Like these, I'm trying to hold back going on a tangent and a rant. I mean, you guys are making me do it. So I'm gonna rant for a little bit. I'll try to keep it. Anyways, the Bored Ape NFT things. Put it like this: if those Bored Apes, which if you're not familiar, it's the same drawing, but one will have a hat, one will have an earring, one will have a gold tooth, one will have like a beard. Like but it's the same basic looking ape as that. All this, one will have like a sailor shirt on. Who knows? And for some reason, one is more valuable than the others. I don't really, who cares? It's an NFT. So it's digital art that you own ownership. Here's the thing, and they sell for millions of dollars to hundreds of thousands for the crappier ones. If you had a gallery, and say this is pre-NFT, and you went to the gallery and a brand new artist showed you, and by the way, let me tell you, this, wherever it is on either side, is leaps and bounds a better drawing of the Bored Ape than the actual Bored Ape. The actual Bored Apes are pretty pitiful art. Like, I'm not an artist, but give me a year and I could draw Bored Apes. They're not good. And I'm not an artist at all. I can draw stick figures. So art obviously is subjective, but it should be based off of skill. If you go to an art school, like people that are like graduating or something, and you go to every single student there, ask them to draw a Bored Ape, they will be able to do it just perfectly fine. So good art, I believe, needs to have talent. And although you need an artist, any artist could draw this. So therefore, I don't think it's very good in that sense, because it's so easily produced and there's nothing unique or special about it that can't be replicated. So my point is, if you had a gallery of all these Bored Apes and you had people come in, they're probably like, oh, what the hell is this? Okay, whatever. And then this would be the type of stuff where people would be like, I'll give you $100 for this painting of a Bored Ape or a drawing, whatever it is. So that's what it should be worth. Just because it's an NFT does not all of a sudden mean it's 10,000% more. Like, it doesn't. Like, just because that's the problem, is if this was art, actually people would be like, oh, it's a physical and digital, blah, blah, blah. But take the physical and put it up there, no one would care. It's only because of the mystique of the NFT that it makes it more valuable. That's why. I think this book in the future will be a funny story, but won't be worth anything. And when I mean future, in case people were wondering, 5 to 10 years from now, whatever price it's going for, it's too much. That's what, I don't even know what it's going for. I wouldn't. If you want to buy as a joke, sure. If you want to buy it because you like weed, and go ahead. If you want to buy it for any other reason than investment purposes, be my guest. But if you're buying this because of investment, pass. Yeah, and that will be it, I believe. Have a great day.